So this was not good. As we saw in dramatic fashion this week, the feud between President Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has reached a fever pitch. The president weighing in on it again today.
I can work with the speaker. Sure, I can work with the speaker. Did you hear what she said about me long before I went after her? Did you hear? She made horrible statements. She knows they're not true. She said terrible things. So I just responded in kind. I want to do what's good for the country. I think Nancy Pelosi is not helping this country.
All right, let's bring in Chris Direwalt with his thoughts on all of this. Crazy. He's crazy. He's sick. She's crazy. I can't remember which, but everybody really needs to see a doctor, according to what we heard this week, Chris.
What a way to run a railroad. I mean, gracious sakes. The dumb is getting pretty dank here in Washington. Look, let's remember what they're really fighting about. What they're really fighting about is who's going to get blamed for the fact that for the next year, for the next 16 months, nothing will get done in this city. Zero things will be accomplished that matter to the American people. We will be lucky. We saw today in Washington, D.C., one member of Congress kill a disaster relief bill worth $19 billion for a lot of people who really need it because it didn't include wall funding. That's a stunt. That's something that you do, but it tells you the bill will be passed later and signed by the president, but it tells you how bad things are. That's what Pelosi and Trump are really fighting
I mean,
about.
that's just going to, people are just going to throw their hands up in disgust. They're so tired of this, of nothing happening, and it's going to be very interesting to see which party wins in that debate. As you say, they're going to try to convince each other that they're pointing at the other person and it's their fault. I want to pull up the New Yorker cover that is coming out next. It shows President Trump sitting, probably somewhere in the halls of Congress, and he's got his shoes being shined by Lindsey Graham and Bill Barr and Mitch McConnell. They're probably not going to like that, but it's, I guess, in the great history of political cartoons, we've seen things like this before.
Of course, and I'm sure trust me when I say Mitch McConnell will not be rattled.
No, I don't think so.
By what the New Yorker thinks of him. He is killing it and continues to dominate, and he's set up for re-election. And it's funny, Mitch McConnell has taken this long journey from being the GOAT, the guy that Steve Bannon said was the poison to the conservatism and must be removed, to now the guy that Steve Bannon says save the country. So Mitch McConnell don't care.
One last quick question in terms of military and foreign policy. The White House is basically using emergency authority to sell some military equipment to Saudi Arabia. That's not going to sit well with some members of Congress.
No, and it's not going to sit well in a bipartisan fashion, because the reason that those arms deals are on hold is that both Republicans and Democrats are concerned about escalation in the region and that dumping a lot more arms in there, especially when we look at the strife in Yemen. When we look at the situation, the concern is this is going to get even more out of hand. But the administration not only wants to back our allies, the Gulf states, but they also want the money. The president likes these deals.
Chris, thank you.